What happens when one of the most feared militant forces in the Middle East is brought to its knees? How does Israel respond when not just one, but multiple enemies close in on its borders? Could Hezbollah be next on Israel's hit list? And what role does Iran play in the escalating conflict? If you're ready to dive deep into the intense geopolitical dynamics of Israel's war against Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran, you're in the right place, because the truth about what's unfolding is nothing short of explosive. Just 1 year after the devastating October 7th attack that killed 1,205 Israelis, mostly civilians, Israel's military has made a bold declaration. Hamas's military wing is defeated. According to Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, chief of the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, the militant group that once struck terror in the hearts of Israelis is now in ruins. Israel's army has pounded Hamas in northern Gaza, hitting them where it hurts and vowing to prevent the militant organization from ever rising again. But is this truly the end of Hamas, or will they bounce back like they have in the past? Meanwhile, the conflict has expanded northward, and Hezbollah, the Iran-backed powerhouse in Lebanon, has now come under Israel's relentless assault. Since Monday, Israel has killed around 440 Hezbollah fighters, striking the group from both ground and air. Hezbollah's senior leadership has been wiped out, including their iconic leader Hassan Nasrallah, who was assassinated in a massive Israeli strike on Beirut. The group, which once held a near-mythical status, is now struggling to survive. But with Hezbollah crippled, does this mean Israel is preparing for an even bigger showdown with Iran, Hezbollah's primary backer? Iran isn't sitting idly by. Tehran recently launched 200 missiles in retaliation for Israel's killing of top militant leaders. The missiles struck an Israeli airbase and caused damage in the occupied West Bank. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has vowed that the resistance will not back down. The situation is escalating fast, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has declared that Israel has the right and duty to defend itself, no matter the cost. As Israel fights on multiple fronts, tensions are high. President Isaac Herzog called Iran an ongoing threat, and Israel's military has ramped up its forces in anticipation of Hezbollah retaliating, especially as the one-year anniversary of the October 7th attack looms. With hundreds of Hezbollah rockets continuing to rain down on northern Israel, over tens of thousands of Israelis have been displaced, unable to return to their homes. But what happens if Iran decides to fully unleash its might on Israel? The humanitarian toll is staggering. Over 41,825 people have been killed in Gaza, mostly civilians, and over 1,110 people have died in Lebanon due to Israeli strikes. Israeli bombardments have left 4 hospitals in Lebanon out of service, adding to the mounting crisis. The UN has described the situation in Lebanon as catastrophic, and hundreds of thousands are now displaced. Lebanon is on the brink of collapse, but it doesn't stop there. UN peacekeepers in Lebanon have rejected Israel's demands to relocate, further complicating the tense standoff. The international community is struggling to mediate. Efforts to broker a ceasefire have repeatedly failed, and critics are pointing fingers at Netanyahu's hardline stance, accusing him of blocking potential peace deals. U.S., Qatari, and Egyptian diplomats have tried, but with 97 hostages still held by Hamas and negotiations going nowhere, time is running out. Even French President Emmanuel Macron criticized Israel's decision to send ground troops into Lebanon, while Iran has warned that any further attacks will trigger an even stronger response. So, what's the next move? Israel has eliminated 2 major threats, Hamas and Hezbollah, but Iran remains a looming force. With Iran's military capabilities and deep influence across the Middle East, any misstep could lead to a region-wide conflict. And here's where it gets even more intense. Will Israel's strategy of overwhelming force be enough to secure its borders, or are they setting the stage for an even more dangerous war with Iran? The stakes have never been higher, and the future of the Middle East is hanging in the balance. Stay tuned, because what happens next could change the course of history.